So in today's video we're going to be making our own vase or vase, however you want to say it. Let's go! We are back. We're going to be experimenting today. Hopefully I can get this right. We're going to make a vase, however you want to pronounce it. Now to make this I'm going with the flow. It's just an idea in my head after seeing a video on TikTok of a glass one, so I thought why not try it with resin. So what we need to do is make two of these, and these are just bookmark molds, and I'm not overly concerned about the holes at the top. They will be kind of hidden. So we are going to be using the regular Let's resin for this. I'm not going to use the collab resin because I want to keep that for my Petri art. And we've got the heat mat just to speed this up because I do need to make two of these. And I want to kind of speed the video up. Now I'm keeping mine plain so you can kind of see how everything works. But you could decorate this in many different ways. Just use your imagination. Right, let's get mixing. Okay, we're ready to pour. Pour the bookmarks first. Hopefully you can kind of work out where this is going. You've probably seen the thumbnail and the pictures on Facebook anyway of what it's going to look like. But the question is, will it be watertight, or does it even need to be watertight? You know, you could use dried flowers. So don't panic. And again, I didn't measure my big mold. I am my own worst enemy. I have a project on the side that I can use any leftovers for, because I've probably mixed up a little bit too much. As always, massive shout out to my channel members, thank you very much, and to anyone who's bought me a coffee or a super thanks, and to anyone who's new to my channel. Be sure to be dropping the comments as well, guys. It really does help push the video out there. I can't stress that enough. Remember, this is my full-time job. Right, I think that would do. Can I get any more in there? Do I need any more? Let's just top it up, just to make sure. Okay, so the heat mat is now going on full power. And what I'll do is I'll skip the second one because you don't really need to see it, and we'll be back for the assembly. See you soon. Okay, we're all ready for assembly. Now, I was thinking about this and I could have done this very differently. What I mean is, I could have partially filled the mould, then done a thin layer and set my bookmarks into the thin layer, let that cure, and then do my other one and flip the one with these on into the other layer, and I kind of sealed it that way, and then I would have only needed a small amount of maybe UV resin at the bottom. So if you're going to try it, that will probably be the best way. It will hold water a lot better, and it will be a lot stronger than the method that I'm about to do now. So my idea originally, I'm going to stick with it because it's too late now to add another layer, is to UV resin these in place. We're going to have to mark out the center of each one and get them glued to the resin, and then do the same with this, but make sure that it's square so that when it sits on a surface it's not going to rock. But you can kind of see where I'm going. And if you did it the other way, you could probably use these holes to hang this if you wanted to. I'm not sure what it would look like. So we're just going to carry on with my original idea, but only by trying these things do you actually realize as you're doing the process that there are other ways of doing it which could be better. So what I've done is I've just found the halfway mark. I measure in centimeters over here, so that's 7.5 centimeters. It's about 6 inches, it'll be about 3 inches. And this mold come in a set of molds, but you don't have to use that one, but I will put the link in the description. You could use anything that's kind of, as long as your bookmarks, if you're going to be using these, just have a root through what you've got and just see if anything will work with what you have. So I'm just kind of just positioning things where it's going to be centered, and I know it's not going to look wrong. kind of want it to be symmetrical and, you know, even on both sides. And then all I'm going to do is just pour some UV resin into my cup, like so. I really don't know how strong this is going to be. UV resin really is quite strong with two-part when you bond them together. I'm just hoping I don't make much of a mess. Now you do want the flatter side of your piece of resin, so lay the piece on and just see if it rocks. If it does rock, flip it over and see what it's like on the other side. So I'm going to use my tool and I'm just going to dip that into my UV resin and just run that along the bookmark. And if we need to add more afterwards, we should be able to, especially before we add the second piece. But we just want enough to seal that, like a weld, not as in an earthly weld. But we don't want it to leak. So just a fine amount, I think, should do it. And then we've got our markers laid out, so we can just rest that. Kind of want to get it right first time. And then I'm just going to use my handy flashlight just to give that a bit of a seal on each end. I'm not so worried about the middle at the moment, because I just want it to hold so it's not going to fall over. And once that has held, I can then get my larger UV light and just give that a minute and just move it around. Okay, that one has held, so I'm just going to repeat the process with this next one. And then I've just flipped. I know one of my channel members are really going to like this. I've just put one of the spare piece on the lamp underneath, and I can just rest that now just to cure through that from the other side, just in case the light hasn't reached. It's going to keep pressing the button. And now just with some isopropanol, just to make it easier, now we're just going to rub off those markers that I've put on, just so they're not there and visible. So we've got this gap now, and I suggest tackling this before we put the other sheet on, because it's going to get a little bit fiddly if we don't. I mean, it could be possible from the underneath, but I'm gonna do some now and then probably do some afterwards as well. So again, just putting my stick into my resin, applying it, and then just running that down that seam like so, just to seal that bottom in so that it's not going to leak, hopefully. And then we can stand that up and do the same on the inner seam. Just apply some UV in there, just spread it along, just for added security. I'm making a bit of a mess, but you can be a bit tidier with this. And then just cure that also. What you can also do whilst we've got it apart, just for double added, well, safety and just to make sure it doesn't leak, is just run another line on the inside of the resin pieces just to seal that even better. Alright, so I sealed down the outside edge as well as the inside, and then I just domed that area on the outside at the bottom. Now what we need to do is just do the same thing, just run a thin line of resin down these two here, and then carefully put the rest together. So I've just placed it on top, and I've just used something flat just to make sure the base is even. And then I'm just going to use my pen again, that rhymes, and just dot, because we want to lay it on top without moving it around. So I've got my markers in place now, so I'm just going to run that UV line, just the same as before. Just run that along, both sides. And then we can just line that up with our eye and just rest that on top like so. You can see some gaps where the UV hasn't sealed fully, but again we're gonna touch that up afterwards. And just get our lamp now and we can rest that on top. Just make sure it doesn't move. And then as before, we can just go around all of these seams. I've just got, because it's a bit trickier now, we've got that in place, I've got a long skewer just to be able to run through the inside and the outside, just to make sure that we're not going to get any leaks. Okay, a little bit messy, but for an experiment and the first try, it really is strong as well. I didn't expect it to be as strong. So we have sealed all of the sides now, so all that's left to do is make it look pretty. It's not leaking. I wanted black pebbles, but I didn't have any. The glass ones they're a bit pointless really. But yeah, I'm super impressed, no leaks. And there you go. Fresh flowers, really looks nice. Again, you can design this however you like. You could do lots of different things, just use your imagination. So yeah, as always, give the video a thumbs up, drop me a comment, let me know what you think. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that button for me. And I will see you for the next one. Bye for now.